and I also wanted to find the other side, so that what we're left with is some truth. And not all stories can be fully debunked. And I've had my mind flipped a couple of times. Crop circles, hollow moons, some really crazy shit have flipped me around.
Crop circles is a weird one.
So weird.
It's a weird one because when I first saw them, I'm like, what is that? And then I saw that these guys were doing them with boards and string. I was like, oh, it's just people being silly. And then I watched a whole documentary about how the energy that bent these things over caused these nodes to explode as if they'd been cooked in a microwave.
Correct.
Like, what? And then you find out that the actual stalks are woven together.
Correct.
It's not that they're pressed down, they're woven together. And that these are complex geometric designs that would have taken people weeks to map out. And there's no footprints leading up to it. There's no roads, no machinery, no evidence of any use of any kind of machinery. And these things appear like that. Like people have flown over an area and then flown back an hour or two later, and there's immense football field size, perfect geometry that no one can explain how it was created.
Correct. So the nodes in the stalks, the node is like a knuckle on your fingers. So those are there for phototropism, to bend toward light. So what you're talking about is these things are bent over. They're bent over at right angles. It can only be done with high energy. But also around these crop circles, they're finding microscopic metallic spheroids in around the circles. And that's not a conspiracy theory. They're finding them. And there are these magnetic fields around the circles. And you can see videos online of people going into these crop circles and their hands start to get red. Things are happening to them. So I went into crop circles thinking it was all guys with boards. Mm-hmm. But then when you watch people with boards making a crop circle, it's a mess. They can't do this. And you cannot bend the nodes of reeds and weave them together in a perfect... You can't do it. So that was... As I'm doing the research, I'm like, all right, 99% of them are fake, but there's this 1% that I cannot explain.
The famous video where you see the orbs circling around the field in England and then the crop circle slowly starts to emerge, has that been debunked?
Semi. It's controversial because the guy released that video, I don't know his name offhand, allegedly went to a visual effects house.
Oh, boy.
And released it. But... they somehow put that thing together in a matter of hours, which is suspicious. So in my episode on it, I said, all right, here's what the skeptics say. But, in the 1990s to do that kind of VFX work, because it looks real. Mm-hmm. I don't know. To me, I'm on the fence about it.
It's very convenient that they got the footage.
It is.
It
is. Operation Blackbird was a famous operation in 1990 to try and capture the footage live. By a great researcher named Colin Andrews. And
he's the guy that does the books on crop circles, right?
Yes.
Yeah, he's all in.
He's all in, and he got a lot of support for Blackbird. And not only did nothing happen, he was totally embarrassed by it. And it was all like streaming live, and a lot of people were involved. He's embarrassed. We find out later that while they're like waiting for the circles to happen, just a few miles away, there's a top-secret military operation doing whatever they're doing. He doesn't know why. And then he gets a knock on the door from someone, Men in Black, whoever it is, that first offers him money to stop his work, then threatens him with whatever, threatens his family. And he doesn't know who this guy is. They go back and look at the tapes, and he sees the guy in the background of like one of the TV crews. So the theory is some type of intelligence was embedded into Blackbird, made to discredit him. And that was kind of the end of Colin Andrews, because he was a legit researcher at that point. Now he's fringe, and now he's pseudoscience. But I get into that in the episode. That was something I discovered that I never knew, that there was intelligence involved. I didn't know that there was a military op, which is confirmed. It's wild.
So do you think they discredited him on purpose?
Yes.
Interesting. To make the crop circle thing look foolish. But like, what is the crop circle thing? Like, what is out of the believers, what is the best theory?
The believers is that it's a way to message craft, or it's a landing site, or it's some type of communication.
But why would they do it in wheat fields?
I don't know. It doesn't make sense to me. If you have the technology, just
Yeah.
pick up the phone. There's better ways than just mowing wheat down. But I don't understand.
Do you know the one about the Mandelbrot set?
I've seen it.
Yeah, I think that one is really weird because I think it coincides with the fractal creation of the Mandelbrot set by these people that are into this kind of geometry and fractals. They're like, someone made the Mandelbrot set, which is essentially an infinite fractal of like spectacular design.
And this is before Lorenz and the Lorenz attractor. I think it's before that, isn't it?
I don't know.
Before it was mainstream.
Yeah, before it was mainstream,
right.
Yes. And then when this thing appears and people are like, well, what is this design? And then they connect it to this Mandelbrot set, which is someone would have to have some very esoteric information to be.
It's the Mandelbrot set using Fibonacci numbers.
Yes.
And the phi, the golden ratio.
And it's accurate.
It's accurate down to inches.
Yeah.
You can't do that.
Well, maybe you can, but like how and how long would it take and how much planning and how many people and what would you use? Like what is the technology they would use to bend those things over that way and weave them? It's very weird stuff.
It's weird.
Because it's these, the way these fractals work, it's this ratio in the geometry is like there's specific sizes. This one is half the size of that one, which is half the size of that one, and it goes on and on forever. And when you see it all, see if you can find the Mandelbrot set.
It's maybe the most spectacular crop circle.
It's weird. It's really weird because it's fucking enormous.
Mm-hmm.
And it seems so stupid. Wow, there's a whole bunch of them. The Mandelbrot set is the one with the look like a heart. About that one right there. Yeah, that's it. That's the Mandelbrot set.
Yep, and there's some other fractals there as well.
I was looking at an article that says these two guys took on the challenge and did it for a TV show on the BBC.
They did. If you watch them do it, it's clumsy AF.
Yeah, it doesn't look as good. Like
I'm trying to find it.
Because
I know they always say that these guys did it, but like
you can't really see it there. But those flattened reeds, they're woven together.
With some of the weirder ones, go back to other crop circles. You had some other images before that. There was some other ones, those spirals.
Right.
Like that one right there. Yeah. That is fucking wild.
That's wild.
Like this is multiple football fields long and wide. So how? Make that one a little bigger, please.
And one of these, I don't know if it's that one in particular, showed up right next to Stonehenge. Like a tennis ball throw away.
Like that is crazy. To not, first of all, if you're on the ground, all right, just the measurements alone to make each one the equal distance between circles, in the whatever 6 different blades that you have that stem from the center, they're all the same distance, they're all the same size.
The small circles are the ones that are most interesting because how hard is that to do?
Right. And they're uniform. And It's like, what is that? Like, what the fuck is that? And if that is a hoax, it's so bizarre that it's only these 2 goofballs that were making really shitty ones with boards and strings. And yet there's hundreds, if not thousands of these like really complex ones.
Yeah, those are the guys that are on, you can see them doing it live.
Yeah, but those guys, there's no way they had enough time to do all these things.
And it looked terrible. Look, he's just trampling it.
Yeah. I mean, look, you can certainly make crop circles with a string and a board. You certainly can make crop circles. But it always gets connected, like believing in aliens and everything else. But it's not, no one's even saying aliens. Like it could be some sort of energy from something that we possess, something that humans possess, that they somehow or another aim at these areas. Like, what is that one above it? Go that one right there above, like right there. What the fuck is that thing? Look at that.
They are in the same count. 80% of them come from the same county in England.
Which is also weird.
Now, people correct me in the comments, but I believe that middle piece of geometry is a hypercube, isn't it? Isn't that a 4-dimensional cube?
I don't know.
A tesseract?
It does look like it, but...
Like, what the fuck? How long would that take? That seems like that would take a long time to do.
Stonehenge is under constant surveillance and circles show up overnight.
Very weird stuff.
There's an interesting conspiracy
What the fuck, dude?
to crop circles that we can get into later.
Wiltshire has the most crop circles in England.
Yes.
And it's mostly in England, too, which is also weird.
And mostly in Wiltshire.
Man, like, is there some sort of a theory by the kooks?
Ley lines.
Ley lines.
That they're happening on these segments of energy that intersect.
What is that black and white one, Jamie? Click on that one.
It's just a...
No. The one, that one. What the fuck is that? Wow.
Wow. On a mountain.
Crazy.
That could be in sand, I think, because it looks like sand dunes.
Is that what that is?
16.
That's crazy.
I've never seen that one. It's wild.
I mean, just the amount of time that it would take to do these things. So, ley lines. So this is the theory?
That's a theory. Have you heard about ley lines?
Kind of.
It's this alleged grid of energy that circles the Earth, and almost like how magnetic fields work. And these energy lines have intersection points, and on these intersection points are things like Stonehenge, Giza.
Whoa!
It's in snow on a mountain in France.
Wow! Where are the tracks in?
What?
Okay,
what the fuck is that?
So this is
no footprints, no tracks.
Footprints right here.
Yeah, but that could be
that could be the people that discovered it.
Right.
Though.
Oh, this is the guy that did it, though.
Oh, the guy.
It's an artist that did this. These aren't crop
it.
circles. This is an artist doing it. That's kind of what I was trying to say.
Fucking incredible. An artist did that?
Yeah, it has the guy's name on that first picture we had here.
Amazing.
Simon Beck.
So the artist angle is a conspiracy angle. There's a man named John Lundberg who was part of a group called CircleMakers.org, which is an art project and also a sociology experiment. He would make fake crop circles to see how people would react. Years later, Lundberg and some associates created a documentary called Mirage Men, which is an excellent documentary. And it's mostly about Richard Doty and his disinformation campaign on behalf of the Air Force to discredit the UFO community, drove Paul Benowitz nuts. Bill Moore, who's the guy who essentially brought Roswell out to the public. Bill Moore was taking payments and being fed information from Doty to muddy the waters in the UFO community. He finally came clean in '89, was booed off the stage at MUFON, and everything just unraveled. So it's all disinfo.
They booed him off the stage?
Because he finally said, look, I've been working with the government. A lot of the stuff I've been saying, they told me to say. Majestic 12, all this stuff was coming from Doty, and they didn't want to hear it. And his career was basically over that day.
Wow.
Bill Moore. There was no Roswell story before his book. And, that was Doty. So the documentary about Doty was directed and put together by Lundberg and his associates. Lundberg was one of the original circle makers that would make these fake crop circles to see how people would react. Just thought it was an interesting connection.
But it's interesting because clearly some people are making these. Mm-hmm. But, what was the origins of it? Because I'm sure you've seen that image from the newspaper of the devil with a scythe. You know what I mean? And they're talking about crop circles back in the 17 and 1800s.
1678.
Yeah, 1600s. Wow. First crop circle ever reported was in 1678. According to the story, farmer and crop mower were arguing about the cost of harvesting the farmer's oat field. The farmer was furious at the mower's price and stormed off, swearing that the devil himself should harvest the crop. That night, a dazzling light lit up the oat field, and in the morning, the farmer discovered perfectly round circles in his crops. He was so frightened by the circles, which he thought could only have been so neatly mowed by the devil or some infernal spirit, that he abandoned any attempt to harvest the field. That's a little sketchy. You're scared of circles? Come on, pussy.
Really, though? If there were crop circles in my backyard, I would be a little nervous.
I would be curious. It's not terrifying, right? Mm-hmm. They're not something that would scare me away from harvesting my crop.
No, I'm more afraid of the government than I am of that stuff.
Crop circles don't seem to be killing anybody.
No.
But it's so ley lines. So these things are to differentiate areas so they could see them from the sky. Is that the idea?
The ley lines are the energy lines.
Mm-hmm.
A mystical energy. It's not a scientific energy. And where the lines intersect is where you see sites like Machu Picchu, Giza, Stonehenge, all these ancient sites. There's the ley lines.
Oh.
But ley lines is, it's semi-debunkable because if you connect enough lines, you're going to find patterns. You're going to find
Right.
geometry.
Right.